Welcome Raiders to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in this one, we're going to be talking about my ultimate gear selling guide. Basically, we're going to go from the beginning strategies of the early game, mid game, and showing you how you would look at gear, understand gear, know just because of rarity or stats or anything like that, that doesn't make a gear good. There's a lot of language that comes with it. And this works for all games. So if you can understand gear in this game, trust me, you can understand it in almost any game. Because I've used the same strategies here in like Chinese gachas, Japanese gachas, new games that have come out, like mobile games that have come out, like Ethereum Restart or Wuthering Waves. And it all works out the same. It's all the same, right? It's just a number crunching and making sure you min and maxing, stuff like that. All right, so let's get right into it, right? So let's say your early game. Now, this is not going to tell you what to do, right? I already made a video about what to do. You would go to campaign, you're going to go farm some boots, some accuracy chests and stuff like that. When you're early game, you're going to have lots, right? You're going to come over here on the left-hand side. You're going to have lots of random gear, right? You're going to have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5. You might not even have 6. You might have like 1, 2, 4 right at the beginning of the game. That's only going to hold you to like brutal campaign, which you can get to brutal like in one day if you're willing to sit there all day. You can literally do it. There's a lot of re-gearing and some other things you have to do too. And if you have promo codes for certain champions, that helps as well. But once you've gotten to a point where your brutal campaign, you're pushing like harder than stage 10 dragon, you don't even need like 1 to 4 anymore, right? You might keep some 4s, especially if there's speed and accuracy. You're going to want to eventually push to 5 naturally. Now, you can still use 4-star gear, clearly. If it's going to be 4-star blues, 4-star epic, you have to do what you have to do if you have nothing else, right? Nothing else. But eventually you want to transition to using, and now you can use uncommons as well. Like a lot of people will use 6-star uncommons. I wonder if I can show you some. I don't know how many I have. I might have like 1 or 2. It's been a long time since I've used uncommon gear, so let's see. No, I don't have any 6. You can actually see what champions I have on my account equipped. I still have a Paragon using, wow, look at this is crazy. let me lower the sound for a second so you can see a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, I have one piece here on my Paragon that's been here since, who knows, probably like 2020, 2021. It's a 4-star non-speed piece. It's uncommon. Uncommon's only going to show you 1. Rare's going to show you 2 stats, substats. Epic's going to show you 3, and Legendary is going to show you 4. Mythical shows you all 4 and gives you 1 free roll onto one of your random substats. So in this case, like, why is this even on my account, right? Like, it's just there, but it's equipped to a mule, right? It's equipped to a champion that I'm not using. It's just sitting there. Is it a waste of space? True, but I'm not using the champion either. I have like probably 3 Paragons probably. So it doesn't even matter. It just sits there. And honestly, it's just inflating my PP, right? My player power in a sense. Not that much though, because it's not giving much value. Res does give a lot of value to your PP. Res, speed, and certain high stats that you can't like easily get. Defense, HP, and attack, there's stuff that you can get everywhere, right? Because there's flats and there's percentages. But there's only 1 AC, there's only 1 resist, there's only 1 speed. All right, so you're gonna definitely want to go in here and look for all your 1 through 4s and sell all your uncommons, right? And commons. Now, there are some commons you can use. For instance, 6-star speed, right? Uncommon or common. You can use 6-star speed boots, clearly, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to reach certain speed thresholds, the law of 200. If you've been watching all the videos here on this channel, I've literally broken it down, right? So of course you're gonna need to understand previous stuff, like if you have my gear sell filter video, if you have the law of 200 or the laws of raid, and all the other videos like early game, what to do, where to farm, how to get to mid game. If you watch those videos, trust me, this will make a lot more sense. And then, so like, that's what most people do early game, is they're going to go farm Queen Eva, right? In the chapter 6, I think it's chapter 6 or 7. I think it's been a while since I've actually done campaign. It's 6. Okay, so I knew it was right. I knew, yeah, hey, I still got it. Chapter Palace of Arabia, you're gonna go fight Queen Eva. You're gonna be farming her, right? On the stage 6, which drops the boots. You can fight the boss, which I think costs a little bit more, like 1 more probably to farm her, but you can, it's just better to farm that stage 6 as it's always gonna be like primarily a boot. You don't want to get another random piece. Now you can get better rarity, but for that it's like, might as well just go do a dungeon and actually farm the rarity, boot. All right, so yeah, that's the first thing you're going to be doing is when you're gear cleansing is making sure you're getting rid of your trash. Now, once you've sold most of your uncommons, commons here of 4, right, you might come to like this and try to like, okay, so let me check to see if I have some rares, some epics or some legendaries. I would primarily keep probably any epics and legendaries primarily. You can still use those, especially accessories. You're gonna have a lot of that early game. You might even have 3s, but that's, we're talking about just straight selling artifacts for now. And then once you've gone there, you're gonna primarily come to 5-star after you're done, and you're gonna start selling. This is probably when you're mid game, you have a decent amount of 5 stars. You're kind of already flushing out all the 4 stars. You're just like, nah, I don't need this no more. It's just not worthy, because your silver investment, yeah, it's cheaper, but the stats and the stuff that as you progress the game are going to scale, right? So if you keep investing into 4s, well, your account's not going to progress as fast because you're limited on how many stats your champions can have, because the gear can only go so far, right? All right. So 5-star gear can start getting, you're going to want to start getting like speed boots, accuracy chest, resistance chest, crit rate gloves, crit damage gloves. Those are like the big chunks. Yes, you can still have HP percentage, boots, or HP percentage chests, or HP percentage gloves. Those matter when it comes to the gear, right? Like the artifacts themselves. Let me show you, right? If you go to the description down below, you're gonna need to use the my gear sell priority, like in terms of the stat priority. This is totally free, right? You can come here and you look for the artifact set, and you're coming over here looking for these priority stats. So when you're keeping this gear, you have to understand that a lot of this gear has got power crept. If you're coming into raid now, or maybe you came into raid like a year ago, it's not all the same, right? Now these priorities will still be decent. They can change based on your preference if you want to adjust one of them or whatever, but I'm showing you what I always try to in general, for most of the time when I see a piece like HP, I don't care how many substats there are or whatever. I'm looking just for these 3. If I can get HP main stat, like chest piece, I'm like, all right, cool. It's got it for me. If it's got to be a legendary, it's got to be a mythical. And I'm already thinking, okay, do I got that speed down there? Did it high roll, right? Another thing a lot of people don't know is rolls. This is, once again, you can get this in the description down below. I'm just pulling it up in my Twitch chat so I can pull it up for you guys. You have to understand rolls before you can start selling something in Raid Shadow Legends. If you haven't have this memorized by heart, then you might accidentally sell something that was high rolling and you thought it was bad because it's a 5-star. Just because something's 5-star doesn't mean you instantly sell it. But you can scroll down, you can see all the different artifact sets which tell you what to prioritize one by one. Totally free. It's in the description down below of this video. But you're gonna need that information because I'm gonna show it to you soon. So once you're mid game here, you're going through all this stuff, you're gonna have 5-star gear, right, as you can see, and you're gonna start selling your 5-star uncommons because you want to keep 5-star blue. Lots of 5-star blue, especially that have speed substats, accuracy. Speed, accuracy are the 2 most important stats, substats, or main stat in general, right? Because if you watch the Law of 200, you have to reach that 200 speed and 200 accuracy. And if you're selling your gear that limits you like that, you won't be able to hit those thresholds, right? Either with the in-game, when you're building in-game, right, just naturally and using like the stats like this, if you're trying to use it in-game, or if you're trying to use some other source like the gear optimizer, Hell Hades artifact extractor, things like that. If you do this to your account early and you mess it up, then that system or those apps won't be able to find. It's going to be impossible, right? So you have to always give it options. People also, this is another thing to do. I know this is kind of side note, but I see this all the time, and it's the most taboo thing you can ever do. I know you may be starting as a starting player. You might fill up maybe you might start getting a lot of trash. Maybe you feel like you have like 1,200, 1,000 You're like, whoa, I'm about to like reach the cap soon. The cap has been extended a lot. Back then, we only had 750 as the cap. It was crazy. Then they got us to 1,000. Then we got 1,300, and now we're at 1,600. But people don't understand the struggle of what it was back in 750 only. But there wasn't that many artifact sets, so it makes sense. Never, ever sell more than 75% to 80% of your gear. Never do that. Unless you're super endgame and you know what you're doing and you're gonna dump like tons of energy into your account and farm like 50,000 energy. Never. Because by doing that, you're holding your account back eight months to a year. Because now you gotta farm all that during the tournaments like Dragon Tournament, Dungeon Divers, and blah blah blah. You're just killing yourself, literally. And you might as well buy a whole new account, honestly. But some people just say, I have really good champions, I'll just farm it again. Yeah, and it takes them a long time to get it all back, and it's not worth it. Just for silver, no. All right. So I have some gear here that I wanted to go with you and go step by step. I don't have tons of 5-star gear. I don't have tons of this lower end gear where I can show you. Now I have some low end gear here, right? But I don't have like all of it because I'm an end game player. But I'm still going to show you what you would do as someone progressing, right? Because I still have 5-star gear here from Dragon. I kept it purposely, or I think I did Event Dungeon as well. So I have some gear, so I wanted to show you one by one. All right. So let's look at this piece. This is going to be, I'm gonna move myself real quick. This is going to be a Daze weapon, right? So when we think of ourselves Daze, you pull this up, right? You pull this up and you go, huh? Okay, the rolls. I need this. Thanks. All right, and then you pull this. Okay, let's look for Daze, right? If you really don't want to like learn it and you just want to have it like easy, like pull up something on the side and be like, all right, cool. What does Jay say? Well, Daze, I need speed. Well, why do I need speed? Well, it says there's a 25% chance to place a sleep debuff. That's not guaranteed. That's a 1 in 4, right? And how am I gonna increase that chance of putting it? By taking more turns. Well, speed is important. Plus, speed is one of the most important stats in the game as well. So it's like makes sense. Next one, accuracy. Wait, why is accuracy needed? If all artifact sets that do like a hard CC or special effect, they're on unresistible. Like you can't deal with that. It's just you don't need act to land it. Because most champions that are trying to wear Daze or some hard CC set are gonna have some other abilities that are going to hard control them. You're not gonna put Daze in a support set. You can, but it's not common. You would rather put Daze in someone who puts like, let's say, provokes, so that you can provoke them, and if they're not provoked, they're sleeping, right? Or maybe you want to put Daze in someone who puts stuns. So if you get resisted on your stun, you can still land asleep. Or maybe someone who has a passive that says when people are sleeping, something happens. Or when they wake up from sleep, something happens, right? Like, so that's a combo, right? And then the next one I put is HP. I thought of putting defense, but as the time has gone on, defense is starting to get ignored, and defense is okay. HP is a little bit better because you can use, you can like bring HP leads, and HP helps in general. It's like your whole health pool, while defense is specific. And there's now a lot of bosses in the game and ads like enemies that basically ignore defense or a portion. So I just chose HP, and this is like a year, 2 years ago. This is kind of old, but all of it still stays true for pretty much almost the whole game, because it took me a while to go through each one. All right, so now that we know that, right, and we look at this piece here, we're thinking to ourselves, what do we have? Whoa, there's HP, right? There it is, right? There's a 5-star HP with HP flat. But wait a minute, 228? I know that a 5-star gear can get 4, 5, 6%. And I know that a 5-star epic, well, not epic, but just 5-star in general, because it's epic, it can go from 108. Let's see, I think it's ranges. It looks like we don't have the flats here. We only have the percentages, which most people do not go crazy about flats anyways. I could probably pull this up as a separate thing and show you the potential lows and highs of flats. But that's kind of like a really technical thing to get deeper into the flats, where it's like, oh, look, I just got 800 flat here, plus like 19% HP. Like it gets really like you start, you know, min maxing that way. But when I look at this flat, I think of I could easily got 3 to 400 on a 5, right? And then a 6 would have easily got 4 to 600. So you're looking at like ranges like that. So to me, it high rolled. It did high roll on the HP percentage, but on the HP flat, it's kind of mid. It could have gave us an extra 100 to 150. In terms of the res, it's not. It's well, in general, it's gonna get 9 to 11. It cannot get 12. Only a 6-star can do that, right? So, would I roll this if I was like early to mid game? Well, it doesn't have the accuracy. It doesn't have the speed. It has resistance. This is not really a resistance set. If I'm going to attack you and put you to sleep, why do I need to resist you, the enemy, now that's sleeping? You're not going to attack me with some form or use an ability on me because you're controlled. So you see how it doesn't make that much sense in days to put resist. You can have resist, like if it has speed, HP, act, and resist, you know, like a legendary 5-star or something. Cool, you can use that, but it's not priority. So I already know from here I'm not going to roll this up. You might be like, well, that high rolled. I should roll that high roll because it's basically it's 6-star weapon with some low rolls here because it got 6% HP on a 5-star. Yeah, but it's not worth it if you have two things that don't make sense. Why invest into one thing? You know what I'm saying? Because look what happened. Look what could happen to myself. I do this and now I landed on the flat. I just wasted that silver. You might be thinking to yourself, that wasn't a waste. It barely cost anything to get to level 4. True, but you just wasted your time too. You can't get that back, right? And the whole point of silver is to always save. You're always trying to get as much as possible. Little bitties might not sound like a lot right in that moment, but if you're talking about playing this game over the course of months to years, that's a lot of silver you're losing. So instantly, that was an instant sell, but I just rolled it just to show you. Let's look at the next one. We got this flat attack gloves with high rolls, attack percentage, crit rate high percentage, right? The max you can get 7% on a 6-star. We don't have 7-star gear in raid, so 6-stars can get you the most is 7%. So we have 3 7% and a res. Now, most people will be like, what the hell is that? That's trash. Now, we already know speed, accuracy, and HP. If that was HP percentage, would we roll that? You might be like, well, I could get that. I could get that crit rate, right? Crit rate. But then you have to look at the language of the gear. I want you to look at what you're looking at here. This has attack, defense, crit, and res. How many champions scale off attack and defense? If you're early to mid game, you don't have probably a lot of mythical champions. You might be lucky you pulled one. Do you think that champion's going to scale off those two? Probably not. Most champions scale off one stat, like HP nuker, defensive nuker, attack nuker, right? There are some skills in the game that do stack off 2 stats, or maybe like speed and attack, right? Or accuracy and attack, right? There are some champions that can do that. But once again, you look at here, it's like that doesn't make sense. Defense and HP do not synergize. Then on top of that, resistance with crit rate. If I'm trying to do damage to you, why am I building my champion resistance? It doesn't make sense. Resistance is when you're getting attacked and you're getting affected by stuff. Crit is I'm trying to crit your champion. I'm trying to damage you. So do you see like there's two different red flags, right? Attack and defense and crit and res. Then you can see the major red flag is the main stat. Yes, of course I would have instantly sold it because it's flat glove instead of attack percentage glove, right? We have the attack percentage down here, but I just want you to help you understand first. People always look at the top and go, I'm done, and instantly sell the top always basically because it's not percentage. That's not true. You can still use HP flats. You can still use defense flats if it has the right substats. Remember, when you're rolling gear, where's the number going? Yes, this is leveling up, but we're leveling the top part to then level the bottom part, right? To get random stuff. So a lot of people will sell like main stat flats and have god tier pieces down here and not even realize it. You also have to make sure it's in the right set. which if you watch the gear cell filter, I talk about that, right? In the previous video to this video, if you, it's kind of required to watch that video, honestly, to understand a little bit more of this, because your filter will give you this. I turned off my filter. That's why I have all this trash. So I can show you, right? Like step by step, how to go if you don't have a gear cell filter, to go one by one. This is the old way to do it in Raid, but I have a new way, right? With the gear cell filter, you just let it do it, and then whatever's left, then you roll that and see if it's good. So clearly this piece is mega trash. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have the speed accuracy substat. What now? You might be asking me, Jer, what if the substats did have accuracy, speed, and you took away like defense and attack? Would it still be worthy? No. Do you know why? Because the set is about, you know, putting sleep debuff. But what was the other stat that was important? Speed, AC, and HP. If we're putting attack flat, now our champion that's putting that sleep is squishy, which means that if they get attacked, they have less HP, and they might get one-shotted or two-shotted. You see? So you have to survive a hit so you can keep trying to put that sleep. That's why that stat is there. So if this was HP percentage, days, and it had speed slash act, and maybe like some res, that would be a rollable piece, especially if it's legendary. All right, we got HP flat boots. You never use flats on boots ever. Boots always want speed or percentages, always. The only time you ever do this is when you're end game and you don't need speed subset on a champion. Like let's say UDK doesn't need no speed at all, and you only have stone skin, and the stone skin gear you have is no percentages, but you have HP flat boots, but it has like triple quad res. You could do that. It's not recommended, but you could do it. But yeah, you're most likely going to sell 95% of all that gear. Okay, next one's going to be this Daze 5-star speed. Pretty good for like a mid-game, early game player, right? If you don't have much, look, it's a 5-star mythical with crit rate, crit damage. Ooh, you might be like, man, I want to roll that up. That's a free crit rate. I want to build my champions with 100% crit. Don't want to build them in days, right? You might not want to build them in days, but you might think to yourself, I could use this as an off piece. You might be thinking, wait, Jay, what's an off piece? It's a days artifact set. What do you mean by off piece? Off piece is when you don't look at the artifact set. You don't care about that. You're looking at the stats of what the piece is giving you, because Raid is a stat game, right? This is all you're seeing is numbers all over here. So in this situation, you're like, I need speed boots that have crit rate, crit damage, and defense percentage because I have defense nukers. So I'm gonna roll this up, even though it's not in a savage set or like a lethal set or an instinct set or some sort of damage set, right? You're thinking to yourself, doesn't matter. I can still use 4-piece savage and 2-piece off piece, and this could be one of my off pieces. If you're early to mid game. I rolled it once. What I get? Defense. Let's roll it a second time. I got defense flat. Oof. Kind of sucky, right? We didn't land that crit damage, and I didn't land that crit rate. The great thing about mythicals is that if you have one mythical roll, that makes up for one of your bad rolls, in a sense. You don't want bad rolls, but if you do have a bad roll, you can give it a little, extra try, because you're like, well, technically, that mythical roll is my bad roll. It landed there. It just landed somewhere else on top of that. So that is something you can do when you're early to mid, so you can kind of alleviate pain, so you don't go like, I have to instantly sell it, because this could be one of your best boots. You don't know. You'd have to check, right? For me, of course I'm not gonna keep this. This is just, once it rolls once, I'm bad, I'm just done. That's just how it is for me, because I have way too much gear. Curing set, no, I'm not gonna keep that because it doesn't have anything good down there. This, if you look at the curing, like specifically in curing, I think those stats are resistance. I haven't looked at it in so long because I don't use curing ever. Where is carrying? Here it is. It is going to be speed, resist, act, and HP. Yes, speed and resist is the two most important things because everyone. Now, if the champion's not a speed champion curing, right? Like they're a slow champion like Vogoth, you don't have to put speed as priority. You switch the priority over to the end, right? So it'd be resist, act, HP. And if you don't want to build no act because you don't care about putting the leech on like a Vogoth or something, you can always switch to priority. You can move things over based on your champion. But most champions who are using curing supports, healers, they need to go fast so they can keep healing you. They need resistance so they can't be controlled so they can keep taking turns to heal you, right? So different things like that are important. So like when you come to this and you see HP, crit rate, and def, it's like, that's not helping out my support, you know? And no one's going to really build nuking curing. Like, that doesn't make, like, you see what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. So all this is just like trash. Ooh, we have a good piece there. Wow, so fast I saw it. All right. Let's look at these two pieces here. I like this. This is an HP percentage, crit rate, speed, attack, flat. We can see that the speed gave us a 5 instead of a 6. So it's like, oof. We could have got a 1 free speed right there, right? So we're like short 1. That's already kind of a red flag, right? For early to mid game players, you don't care about that. It has speed, who cares, right? But for me, it's like 1 less speed. It's like, bro, now I'm slower. HP percentage, beautiful, because we want our champions who are in curing to be tanky. Now you might be like, what about speed boots? Speed boots are good if you need that speed, but if you already have the speed from the substats or your glyphs or your banner, you don't really need to go too crazy. You might want to be like, damn, I want more HP. So it just depends on your build. Now let's roll this up. We have 2 good substats here, but 1 bad substat. You might think to yourself, why would my supports need crit rate? I'm already thinking to myself, damn, if I'm not going to use this on a support, you know who would I use this on? An HP nuker that's not using speed boots. Because what does it have? Crit rate and speed. But we don't want to land on that attack flat. So let's see. Okay. So not only was it a high roll of 7%, we also had 7% starting, 7% again. 7 and 7 is how we get 14. So far it is looking nice. Ooh, instantly got a flat roll on the flat attack. Eesh, that's bad. Now you might be like, okay, well, doesn't the strong roll of the critical rate, the highest roll plus a bad roll, doesn't that cancel out? A low roll and a high roll can cancel out if the artifact set is good enough. But if it's like this and you just wasted a whole roll, is dead. Now for you, for early to mid game player, you still need to keep this because this is still going to be decent for you. I'll show you. I'm not going to keep this. There you go. 20% could be nuts. Trying to get that as a substat early to mid game is not easy. Did you know a 5-star glove is 50% crit? You're telling me this boots already has 20%? So you put a gloves with 50% plus 20%. Every character comes with 15 plus a 5-star glove. That's 65 plus 5% in the mastery of offense. 70%. So you're telling me if I equip this on an HP champion, all I need is 10% more crit, and I'll be 100% crit. So when you're early to mid game, you have to keep things like this. But for me, I would have instantly sold it. I was just no, right? With the moment it landed down there, I would have been like, I don't care if it high rolled. I don't. So all right, this one. Now this is another off piece, but this time it's more an attack nuker. It has the crit rate, it has the speed, just like the previous one, right? It's just a different main stat. Now this is what we call a 1-1, right? There's 1-1, 1-1-1, and 1-1-1-1, right? Most people do not like a lot of ones. They're cool if you have it on 1 piece, 2 pieces. You want lots of doubles, triples, quads. You don't want this type of situation all the time. If it's once or twice, you know what happens, fine. But at every single piece of gear like this, no. You want to scale certain parts, right? If you want to go faster, you need double, triple, quad of speed. If you want higher accuracy, you need double, triple, quad of accuracy. If you want to be resistant and be like never get debuffed, you need double, triple, right? I think you get the point. All right, so Immortal, we know Immortal needs HP and speed and some res. I know that. So here I see this and I see crit damage. Is it worth to roll it? What I do, right, when I was like low, my account was lower level, I'd always roll it once, level 4, just to see if it's gonna land on that speed. And if it lands on that speed, I give it one more roll to see if it's gonna land on that speed. And the moment it doesn't, I let it go, right? I let it go. I was like, nah, I'm good. But Jay, it didn't land on the crit damage. It's still pretty good. Yes, for early to mid-game players, this is really good immortal piece for average players. But once you get to late and end game, this is not enough. First of all, it should have had 12% HP minimal, because we low rolled 1 HP percentage. 2, that could have been 12 speed instead of 11. So we've lost 2 stats potentially at maximum value for free. So why get like, why pay more for less, right? It doesn't make sense. So I don't need that. And crit damage doesn't make sense in Immortal. So it's like basically a blue. This is just trash. Clearly you can see that, right? All right, so I have some pinpoint gear. Maybe you're farming the event dungeon and you're thinking to yourself, how do I know what to sell, Jay? Like, I looked at your sell priority. It doesn't show any of these like hardcore sets. All the 9-piece sets now that are in the game, kind of very similar to World of Warcraft sets, equipment sets in those games are, those have special attributes, special abilities. These do as well, just like in WoW, right? But the thing is, they give you little bits of stats per little, if you have 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. And what's cool about that is you can actually start mix and matching a character. They can have 2 pieces of this, 4 pieces of that, 6 pieces of this. Back then, Raid was just only just 2-piece, 4-piece, 2-piece, 4-piece. That's it. Now you can do 3 pieces of this, 3 pieces of this, 2 pieces of this, 4 pieces of this. Like, you can go great. You can just mix and match as much as possible based on what but it's always just a stat, right? The stats are just what the game is trying to do. It's like when you're building your champions using RSL Helper or Gear Optimizer, Hell Hades Artifact Extractor. All it's trying to do is just give you the stats that you're putting in as inputs, and it's like, right, it's just trying to get it, and it's just throwing everything on and going, here you go, this is how you got it, and it's fine. It's fine sometimes. Now sometimes you need to manually go in there and be like, nah, I need to have 6-piece pinpoint, or I need to have 4-piece pinpoint and 4-piece stone skin. Like, you gotta force it in there and do it. But you can also do it as well in, coming over here and doing it yourself using the fitting room preset manager. Lets you save them, but then you can equip and look at your champions to see if someone else is using like certain stats, because maybe they were used for faction wars, maybe they use some certain kind, and you're like, I don't need this champion anymore, I'm gonna strip them off, right? There is no free gear removal anymore. There was a free one, and that would be the best time to take off all your champs. Also, when gear cleansing, if there's certain artifacts you don't want to sell, you can do what's called muling in Raid Shadow Legends. Muling is like, let's say I have like this champion here, right? He's naked, pure naked. I can go to this champion, right? I can go to this champion and I can start throwing on some gear onto them that I don't want to sell, even though it's not like the best, but it's not like bad enough for me to like, you don't want to like throw it away. Cause like, let's say it's like this, right? I have 18 speed here with some defense, HP, right? Crit damage doesn't make sense in Supersonic. HP flat doesn't help in Supersonic. HP percentage would have been better. So I only have 2 stats that are good here, right? Speed and defense on this shield. But let's say you don't want to sell it. Maybe you want to use it later on in the future. You throw it on this champion, bada bing, boom, just equip it. All right. Maybe there's some other stuff, like maybe you want like some headpieces that are decent and you want to throw it onto them. And you can do that. You can start muling champions this way. This will build up your PP. So be careful. Your PP will start getting, your player power will start jumping up if you do a lot of muling, a lot. But muling is a good thing for people who don't want to like hyper gear cleanse their account, right? Some people like to flush it out, right? They're at 1600 and they're like, I just want to sell everything. You just mule like 300, 400 pieces of gear and farm again and farm again. Because people what they'll do is just equip the best pieces, level them up, sell the trash, equip, do it again over and over and over. And the problem with that is that that's going to require lots of farming, lots of silver, lots of artifact ascending. It's just a lot of investment and time. Muling can help you out because it gives you more options, right? So when you go to equipped, Instead of looking, look at this, 3,912. That's double the capacity, right? 1600 is 32. I have 3,912 pieces. Imagine if instead of hyper gear cleansing myself all the time, I just muled all those champions I have right over here. I'm not saying to do every single champion. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm saying if you have pieces of gear that you don't want to sell, you can mule it and you can keep it on your account. And when you do build yourself min and maxing yourself, this gives you more options. Now, as an end game player, I don't need to mule anymore because the gear has to be insane for me to keep it, right? Most of the time I go through my account and I gear cleanse, I already know what's good, right? I've been doing this for years, right? If you guys didn't know, for anyone who's new watching this video, I am an account takeover specialist and I've been playing Raid for 6 years, right? And as you can see on my left-hand side, I have a lot of different accolades. I have some references. I have work experience in this game. I'm an official Raid Shadow Legends content creator. On the left-hand side, you're going to see gear cleansing is one of my strongest suits because I've done it way too much in this game. Way too much. So I've also learned from a lot of people, other people who are like OGs in the space as well, and watch a lot of their streams and videos. I don't need to do that no more because I'm already way past that, right? And some of them, honestly, which is kind of sad, but a lot of them have kind of fallen down, like in terms of knowledge of the game and stuff. They don't even know what they're doing, which is crazy. It's kind of like they knew what they were doing at one point, and then they just lost the, I guess, the raidness, right? I want to show you this piece of gear right here. We have this speed here. It is a 5-star defense percentage speed artifact set with speed substat. Now, of course, you're gonna be like, Jay, should I roll it? Yeah, of course you're gonna roll it, right? Because it has speed on speed. But hold on, what else does it have? Whoa, accuracy, and it's a mythical roll accuracy. If you're early to mid game, this is a godsend. Now you just have to hope it rolls right, because people will be like, I have amazing artifacts, but never roll it up. Your artifact is not that great until you see what it's actually rolled. Once you see what it's 100% rolled, ooh, and how it rolls. Those two important things are very important. How it rolls and where it's rolling. Because we just rolled on speed, but guess what? We low rolled. It was supposed to give us 5+5 or 5+6, and it gave us 5+4, and that gave us 9. Does that mean it's just trash? No. It just means that you didn't get as much, and that sucks. Okay, all right, hold on. We got a 5 there, right? 9+5 is 14. So we got 2 normal rolls, 1 low roll. Is it bad? I'm gonna keep going. Now I'm doing this for the video. I would not need to use this because I don't need this myself unless it quads. But oh, okay, it didn't land on the accuracy and it didn't land on the speed. So for me, this is an instant sell. Would I recommend most players get this to 16? No. What I would tell you is that at level 12, you should use this at level 12, and then when there's a gear enhancement and you have an excess amount of silver, you're going to want to go and you're going to want to level this up to 16 during a gear enhancement when you have an excess amount. You might be like, what's an excess amount? 5 million? No. When you have like 15 to 20 million, you can definitely sack 2 million into a glove. It's fine during a gear enhancement, and that's going to give you all that stuff value. Now, another strategy too is you can keep upgrading this to level 15 and leave it right there. If you really need those stats on your champion and you really need them, like at the moment, you're like, I need that defense percentage right now. I need it. You can get this to 15, and then during against gear enhancement, you get it to 16, and you get the pure value like that. Now for me, I'm just gonna sell that. Would I've rolled that again if it landed on speed and got me 19? Honestly, I might have. I don't know, because that's still not enough. Like 19 plus 5 is 24, but it's a 5-star. So now I'm sacrificing speed, and I'm losing 10% defense because it's 6-star for 5-star just for an extra 4 speed. Now it does have the mythical roll of the accuracy. If that accuracy was 20, right, it should have been 10 plus 10 is 20. It gave us what, 8 and a 9? That's on 2 low rolls right there for me. You see what I'm saying? So if that accuracy would have been 20, and now I would have got 19 speed or 20 speed, oh, I definitely would have rolled that, even as a 5-star. So I always tell people, be careful. You don't always sell 5 stars. But it's a 5-star mythical. So like I said, early to mid game would easily jump on that. You would easily jump on that. This is what you would normally see on your account, right? Following the strategy I told you at the beginning of this video, you would go in here and you would definitely roll this up, yeah, and try to get speed. And if you get res, it's still good. If it gets double res, it can still be used for supports that need to go fast but don't need to go as fast, like a booster or a reviver, right? Resistance champion, you can still build some revivers with a lot of res and lower speeds, like usually legendary voids or certain revivers can do that. So, but for me, this is just pure garbage. All right, so another thing we're going to do, one last thing, because I don't want to make this video too long. It's probably going to be like 50 minutes. Another tactic you can do when you're selling gear is go like this. Go to your gloves, go look for all the flats and see if you can find anything pulled up. And as you can see, I do have gear here. I have a flat one that has speed. If this wasn't a speed set, I would instantly sell this, but guess what? It is speed, so I'm gonna roll that. Oh yeah, we could get 20 speed. Oh, it's dead to me just that fast. I have, as you can see, I have a lot of flats, but they have speed on them. Speed on them. Speed on them. That one has crit rate. That's weird. I'm selling that. Don't care. This one, speed on it. This one, speed on it. Now this is a little bit lower speed, which is really bad, but impulse is very rare. You cannot farm this. You can only get it from live arena, so I'm a little bit more cautious with gear that I can't farm. Supersonic, 17 speed. This one, 17 speed. So notice I'm still using the flats, because like I said, people who tell you to sell all flats is not true. All these flats that I've kept are all in speed sets. You will see speed plus. Look, speed plus everywhere that I'm using them. Look, instinct, speed plus. Stone Skin is not a speed plus, but Stone Skin is a slow set, right? And there are some champions that need to go very fast in Stone Skin to do certain stuff like bombs or lockout people. So I'm trying to see if I can do that. If it doesn't work, I might just sell them all. This one I could probably sell, honestly, because it's not really, it does have speed, but it's more about accuracy. So this is one of those pieces that I probably should sell, because 16 is gaga. It's not enough. Plus there's no accuracy substat down there, Sag. All right, let's come over here. Merciless. Why am I keeping this? It has 15 speed, but it's flat though. Weird. Am I trying to get 20 speed in Merciless? Merciless does give a little bit of speed, but not too much. I feel like this is coping. I should let that go. I have a Slayer piece. This one looks like it's meant for a rework. I just don't have the ability to rework it yet. This one is a Feral with triple accuracy, but no speed subset. That looks like another rework. This one is garbage. I don't know why I have that rolled up. And we have a Pinpoint with no speed. Accuracy, but no speed. I need speed and Pinpoint as well. So there you go. That's what you do. You look on the left hand side, you look at all your HP flats, all your attack flats, all your defense, and you want to do this in glove, chest, and boots. You want to do all 3. I was just doing one to show you, but I'm gonna do the other 2 right here. Let's see if some other ones. That's garbage. Crit damage. Oh, we have a divine speed, right? 12% speed. Does it have speed here? Yes, it does. So you can use this. The optimizer can use it. It will use artifact sets plus your substats, plus your accessories and your banner and your glyphs and your blessing or whatever else you have. You know, area bonuses. It'll use all. Well, it won't use area bonus. It will use artifact ascension. It will use accessories if they have like protection, so you can try to get speed like with 3-piece, things like that, right? So all these matter, and if you sell them all, you're limiting your account. That's why people, when they're like, I can't get to a certain speed threshold or I can't get to a certain accuracy threshold, this is why. All right, next one's going to be attack flat with crit rate. It has speed, but why do we need the crit rate? This looks like, to me, looks like a rework, but it's so hard to get 6-star chaos ores. So as you can see, I've been holding on to a lot of stuff that need to get sold, man. They're just taking up space. I'm gonna sell this because it has the mythical a mythical roll there. I don't really need a lot of boots, but chest I might, yeah. So I might sell this one. But screw the reroll. All right, we got this one, protection with speed. I'm gonna keep that. That's just yeah. That's coping. 11, but it's only 11, but you never know, it could get 18. Sorry, not 18, 17 if I roll it to 16. I'm not spending the silver right now. Ooh. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Defense flat, but it quad rolled speed. And that's why I don't always sell flats. It's not even in a speed set. It's in a stone skin set. All right, we got HP. Oh, this is just pretty bad. This is for like an HP nuker to, or like a, whatchamacallit, like a champion that's going to go slow, but not too slow. I probably should sell that. I'm probably just going to roll to 16, see if it what it lands, and then consider it. This is nothing crazy. It's a reroll. As you can see, I have a lot of rerolls here. This is trash. That's another reroll. Yeah. Damn, I need like 20 chaos ores. Wow, I need a lot. This is trash. I don't even know I have that. That's good. 17 speed. 14 speed's not that good. That's coping. That's coping. I need to sell that. It has res on it, so that's probably why I was like, oh, it has the AC, has res, has speed. But it's like, bro, they're all like low rolling, not high rolling. It's 5-star gear. I got it to 16, and look, it's still chilling here on my account, not doing nothing. So it's just a waste of space. Over here, that's a reroll actually. Yep. Ooh, that turned out to be an off piece. It's no longer going to show up right here because look, the game's looking for flat. But that was an off piece. Attack percentage with double speed, and it can still roll up to 16. Right, and that's crit damage. It doesn't have crit rate, but it's kind of like a weird attack res nuker, but it has a lot of speed substat. That's not bad. That's an off piece. This is another rework here. Ooh, ouch. Why don't you get speed down here? Yep. Speed could have went up there. Ouch, Sag. That's garbage. Oh my god, res. Can I get triple speed, please? No. Res nuker. Gotta love it. Jesus. Hate that shit. So cancer. Triple speed here, so I'm keeping this because it's still it still has speed, right? That's why I'm keeping that. This has speed down there, even though main stat's weird. Yeah. It's like a mythical. I'm probably coping with this. Probably should. I probably want to rework it. I just don't have a rework. That's garbage. I could rework this one. Okay. Can I get some crit rate, some speed, some. Oh my gosh! Look at this. This is horrible. No crit rate, no crit damage, no speed substat. Ouch. I got to go find that later because it's yeah. And then okay, once you've sold all those and got through all that, another trick is you go to your accessories and you're going to look for in the middle, right? Which is this is your ring, this is your amulet, and this is your banner. You're going to want to look for amulets that have attack as the main stat. Why? Because attack only helps for people who are using Arachne Elixir or poisoners with lethal dose, or it's going to help people who use bomb champions. So if you have a certain faction like Shadowkin, right? Shadowkins don't even have a bomb champion, not even a rare, not an epic, not a mythical yet. So on your account, when you're going through your accessories, think about the faction where you're at, where the accessories at, right? What faction you're at, and what champions that you own or champions that you might pull for. Is that gear gonna help them? If not, then what's the point of holding on to it? It's just taking up space. So most people go to all their attacks and they usually go like this and sell all. First of all, that's stupid. You shouldn't just do that automatically. I see so many content creators talk about that in the space, and there's a reason why where you're at in the game. So what you need to do is think about the substats once again, just like gear. If you have a legendary or a mythical attack ring, but it has accuracy or crit damage down there. Sorry, not crit damage, accuracy, or let's say it's a crit damage ring and it has like attack flat or accuracy substat. Even if it's like a bad rarity or lower piece, like a 5-star, you should still try to see if you get the double triple ac or double triple res or attack, right, with accuracy down here. As you can see, I have this one little Shadowkin with double accuracy. Now my account's really endgame now. Do I need a piece like this? No. This is honestly, if you look at those substat rolls, right, it got 11 plus 11 plus 11, and that's how we got to 33, right? Am I tripping here? So 11 is 22, 22 plus 11, yes, would be 30. Yeah, so it didn't super high roll, right? Because we could have got 12 12 12 and yeah, 12 12 12, because you get it starts with 1 accuracy and we got 2 more, so we could have got 36. We got 33, so we lost potentially 3. So when you're doing the rolls of your gear, try to look at how it's rolling. It's very important to see if you're getting value. Now, I don't really need this that much. I've been probably keeping this for Faction Wars, but I've done hard Faction Wars and I don't need this. I'm noticing how hard Faction Wars is really hard. So I don't need a piece like this. Unless they release a fucking some Shadowkin champion like tomorrow or next week, I'll probably be regretting, but you don't need this. I don't need this. So Stone Skin, Protection, and Pinpoint are the only ones that I think people should keep. As you can see, if we go to all my factions, I shouldn't have that many attack. There is bomb champions and skinwalkers, right? Like this one has accuracy down here, that's why I'm keeping it. Let me see if I get some accuracy here. No, I get res. Attack and res is garbage, doesn't make any sense. All right, let's look at some other factions like orcs. Orcs don't need bombs. I mean, there's like one, I think, but I don't really need it. See, so like, didn't land accuracy. I can just sell it. No point. Now, like I said, be careful with the protection, the slayer, stone skin, all those special type of accessories. You can't farm that. So if you sell that, you might not get another one for 3 to 5 months. So make sure you don't sell them, even if they're attack. A lot of people will tell you just go sell your attack. No, bro, they're kecking you. They're kecking your account, trust. Now, if you're an endgame player and you know what you're doing and you don't need the attack ones, you can sell that, of course. But this is not for endgame gear. Like, it helps most players. This is for early to mid to late game, you know, mainly. I'm trying to see if there's any oh, I have one right here. Attack with 23, but some HP. That's not that great. I could just use Feral. As you can see, I have a Feral one right here. Oh, it doesn't have no accuracy substat though. But Feral still gives you, right? Just equipping it gives you 40 act as 1 ring. Bro, that's like a double triple substat roll. You know what I'm saying? So you could, when you think to yourself, I'm like, okay, I have attack, what should I get? Well, try to get everything except res. Unless you want a resistant bomber, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I got there, which is not that great, but still usable. Ogryns have bombs. Let me see. Bannerlords do not have bombs. They do not have bomb champions. So this one has AC. This one has AC. This one has res. I'm gonna go with this one because it landed on the right mythical. This one did not, so I don't care. So I'm just gonna sell that instantly. Let's look at another faction that has don't have bombs. Sylvan Watchers. Sylvan Watchers, does this have AC? Yes, it does. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna roll it up, see if I get AC. And I got the AC. There you go. So just make sure when you're selling through your when you're selling like pieces like this, you might need them. Now, they're not going to stay on your account forever, but they might be just enough for you to get those limitations of 200 accuracy, 350 accuracy, 450 accuracy, 600 accuracy, and 800 accuracy. Those are the limits, right? When you're early game, you're like 100 or 0, and you're trying to push a 200, law of 200. Then you're trying to push a 351, so you can do hard Doom Tower. Then you want to go to 450, so you can do all hard dungeons, except Sandal. That requires more. It requires like 5 something. But that's end game, super end game to stage 25. But 450 is enough to start doing like hard mode, Curse City, and hard mode dungeons, things like that normally, except for Sandal. Then you're gonna want to push 600 because you need almost 600 for Amius Sand Devil, you're gonna need it for Hydra Nightmare, stuff like that. And then you need 800, 700 plus to 800 for Arena, because if you're fighting against high resist teams, you don't want to get kicked. Now there's not that many high resist teams as there used to be, but you never know. In Tag Team Arena or in Classic Arena or Live Arena, someone might be rocking 900 resist, and if you don't have it, you literally lose the match. So here we did roll accuracy there, which is pretty nice. So there you go. Also in terms of banners, there's two strategies. One last thing, and when it comes to banners, make sure you're trying to get as much speed as possible. People will sell everything that doesn't have speed. That's not always the case. That's only the case in certain champions and certain factions don't need that much speed. But normally this is a turn-based game, so you need as much speed as possible. So you get your most amount of speed from glyphs, from double, triple, quad rolls, and you get them from your banners. Of course, and your speed boot now with speed ascension. We didn't have speed ascension, so banner was like the best place to get speed. Getting an extra 20 to 35 speed was nuts if you ever got that lucky, right? And then you glyph it, right? So that is important, because basically a banner could be almost a 4-star boot on top of your 6-star boot, right? So trying to get speed is very important. So we got 11 there. I have no speed, 5 there, but it was like no rolls. 12 speed there, 10 speed there, 17 speed on a resistance is really good. For most people, 21 on a resistance is insane. See, that's stuff that I use. Anything that's 20 speed and up, I use. Doesn't matter if it's epic. Rare cannot get 20. The most a rare can get is 18. As you can see, look, that's the cap. Accuracy with speed, 18 is the cap, and then the cap for this would be +8. The average player. Now, if you're doing hard mode faction wars and you're an end game player, you can cap that even way further now, so people are getting crazy fast. Anyways, that's my ultimate gear selling guide. If you have any other questions, you can always come to the Discord, which will be in the description down below, or you can come to twitch.tv/JRStar3, come and learn, ask some questions as well. Also play other gacha games as well, like Ethereum Restart, play Wuthering Waves and some other ones. But hopefully this helps you. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this video? Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.